What's happening, guys? Ryan here with Texsource. Today I am going to mix and print silicone ink. So what is silicone ink? It is a PVC-free two-part system that is made to print on polyesters. Polyesters are a very difficult t-shirt to print on, hoodies, whatever you have, spandex. They bleed a lot, dye migration, that sort of thing, and they have a lot of stretchability. So we will be printing silicone ink today. This is a Libra system. This ink is strictly for polyesters. It does not perform well on cotton or 50-50, that sort of thing. It is strictly for polyester shirt. What is great about this ink is that it allows extreme stretchability on shirts. You can stretch your shirt as much as you want, and this ink will go back to its normal state. Unlike a standard plastisol with stretch additive into it, or standard polyplastisol, you go to stretch that one, it's not gonna recover well at all. Silicone ink is made for polyesters, made for spandex, made for superior stretchability, and great dye blocking, bleeding properties. It's superior when printing on polyesters. So today we're gonna show you how to mix this system. So what Libra is, it's a 14 color mixing system with a base. So if you want to get into this, you'll have to get into the entire system, but what Texsource has to offer is an RFU white and black. And then a small catalyst. Now, catalyst for silicones is very expensive. It is the most expensive thing in this whole system, and a lot of people stray away from silicone inks because of the expense. But it's really needed if you're printing a lot of polyester shirts. So what Texsource has done is we made a little small kit for you guys, a small pint of your catalyst, and RFU white and black. I think it's around 300 bucks or so for the system. And you can imagine if we got 3 quarts here, you can imagine what gallons of this stuff costs. It's really expensive, but it's a great product in your shop if you print a lot of polyesters. So we'll show you guys, we'll jump into this, we'll mix this. What you wanna do is, you wanna mix 3 to 5% catalyst by weight. So we will teach you guys how to mix. It's nothing to be scared of, it's a good product. It is perfect for polyesters, and that's what we're gonna show you today. All right, so we're gonna mix the RFU black first. We'll be mixing both the white and black, same percentage on both. Make sure to always, when you're mixing inks on a scale, it happens to us all the time, happens to me all the time, always make sure you tare the weight when adding colors and catalysts. That is important. It is very important to know that when mixing the catalyst in with silicone, you will have a shelf life of about up to between 8 and 12 hours. Now, some people will say you can put this in the refrigerator and come back the next day and use it. You can, but manufacturer suggested up to 12 hours shelf life once you add the catalyst to your ink. So you only want to mix what you're going to use that day. What happens is, over time, the silicone, once you add the catalyst, it will harden. It'll turn rock hard. So only mix what you need. And I'm mixing a little too much, but again, we've had some folks who use this that will put this in the fridge and come back the next day and use it. That is the case, you can do that, but manufacturer suggested you got about 12-hour shelf life. All right, so I'm at 147 grams. I should have went up exactly 150. Let's see if 150 right there. 151, we'll do that. 150 grams. Again, it's 3 to 5% mixture. So I'm gonna do 4% of 150. So 6 grams of catalyst. And that's not a lot. So this catalyst will last you a decent amount of time. Now when I show you this catalyst has got a little thick consistency to it. So it's not gonna pour all over the place, that sort of thing. So you make sure you tare, but you can see how it's got a little bit of a, stop, there we go. So I always do 4%. Again, it's between 3 to 5% is your mixing parameters, but I always do 4. That way if you overshoot it a little bit, you have a little bit of variance. And if you undershoot it, then you're down to 3%. So I always choose the 4% right in the middle so that you don't overshoot or undershoot. Once you add the catalyst, Just mix it really well. And because the catalyst is so thick, in your silicone ink, it's almost like a plastisol consistency. This doesn't thin out any at all, really. So you still really have like a real plastisol-like consistency with this ink. Now, unlike white polyester inks, all screen printers out there know white polyester ink is really, really thick. You can see that this silicone white, that's a nice creamy white. So this will be a lot easier and user-friendly than some polyester whites out there. You don't want to mix this. Once you mix your catalyst, do not screw up and put the ink back into your normal bucket, because you will ruin that entire quart of ink. Well, actually just a top layer. You might scoop off the top layer because it'll be so hard, and your bottom layer will be a thinner consistency and you'll be able to use that. But all right, so we're at 155 grams on this. So whoever bought that last quart that we did, they didn't say anything, but I'm pretty sure I screwed that up. So we're at 155 grams. We're gonna do 4% again. That's 6.2 grams. My scale does not go to the 10th decimal places, so we'll just hit it at 6 again. So we got the ink mixed, we got the ink in our screen. We're printing on a blue polyester. I'm using a 156 mesh. No, sorry, this is a 110 mesh here. Ideal mesh range on when printing in silicone is between a 110 and 156. You never really want to go too high of a mesh count. You want to be able to lay down enough ink that will have really good stretchability. So if you go too high of a mesh, you're not laying down enough ink. If you go too low of a mesh, you're laying down too much ink. So we're at a 110 here. Cure temp on this, 270, 275. That's got a low cure because it's you're printing on polyesters, and silicone is geared towards polyester ink. Also, another important thing is your pallets. You don't want to print polyester shirts or print the silicone ink with a really dirty palette. Whatever's on the palette, it's a lot of lint, a lot of grime, whatever's underneath that will show through when you print the silicone on top of the polyester. So it will not have a nice flat print. So always, with any kind of printing, you always want to have a nice clean palette when printing the ink on top of it. So, see, this ink is nice and creamy. No need to flood after. We can see how nice, white, and opaque that is. So we're going to go ahead and flash this. Now with one print, if we were printing colors on top of this, I would not need to do another print. We would just print flash and put the other colors on top. So, but since I'm just printing a one color white, I'll print the white twice. Flash time, since this is a low cure ink, low cure silicone, should be quick flashing after you get your pallets warmed up. This is a cold pallet, so it's taking a little bit longer to flash. But again, if this was, we were printing colors on top of this, and this was my white underbase, I would just do a one hit on the white, flash it, and then print the colors on top. Since this is a standalone white print, I'm gonna print, flash, print the white. So it's nice, bright, and opaque. But it's a good, bright, opaque ink in general for a one pass. So this is my final product. You see it's nice, it's white and opaque. Print, flash, print. We'll zoom in on the stretchability here again, so you can see how well it stretches. Again, my logo is already distressed, so that's not part of the cracking, but you can see how I pull it, how well the silicone maintains and then recovers once you let go. So it's a really good ink for polyesters. So going to clean up, again, you do not want to leave a silicone in your screen. If you do, this silicone is going to dry and you're going to have to rip the mesh out. It's similar to water base. Once you scrape out all the ink, you can discard it, or if you want to put it in the fridge to use later on, you can. But manufacturer suggested you have a 12-hour shelf life once the catalyst is mixed. Once you scrape out all the silicone ink, you can then use Easy-Way 842 or some kind of press wash to clean out your screens. So in my opinion, silicone kind of gives you a rubbery, slick feel on the polyesters. And polyester is going to take on any shape that it's laid down on. So polyester garments are very slick and smooth garment. So the silicone ink will take on that shape and feel. Now if you put silicone onto a cotton shirt, it is not going to look good at all. So really silicone is strictly for polyesters. If you want to print silicone on cotton, you can. You just have to flash print multiple times for it to take on the correct shape and get that feel. So again, silicone is more of a mixing system, but Texsource has made this to where you guys can get an entry level. We have the RFU white, which is a ready for use white and a ready for use black. You pull the ink straight out of the bucket, mix your catalyst 3 to 5%, and you'll be able to start printing silicone inks on polyesters. And once you dive in and it's something that's really good for you and you print a lot of polyesters or athletic garments, that sort of thing, then you can start moving up on into like the mixing system that we offer, mixing bases and pigments. So thanks for watching and hope you guys will enjoy the silicone.